you ever reached a point where even the smallest decision that you had to make felt very confusing and exhausting? What should I cook today? What should I reply? What should I do next? And suddenly, even simple choices were so overwhelming. Not because you're not capable of making a choice, but because your mind is already carrying on so much. You have everybody's schedules, everybody's needs, everybody's emotions, everybody's responsibilities, everything you've taken on yourself, and somewhere along the way, you've become, the person who remembers everything, handles everything, thinks about everything. And today we are going to talk about something many women silently experience every single day of their lives: decision fatigue. And this is caused by carrying everybody else's mental load on them. Hi, and welcome back to another episode of the Flight to Fulfillment podcast. I'm your host, Radhika Seth, your life enhancement coach and the founder of the Freedom Divas Hub. And today we are diving into something that often gets very unnoticed: mental load. Now, it's not about just physical responsibilities, but the invisible emotional and mental labor many women carry constantly. You remember appointments, you plan ahead, you manage emotions, you keep life running smoothly for everybody else. And when your own brain, starts staying in constant management mode, something happens. You become mentally exhausted, even when you're technically doing nothing, because your mind truly is not resting ever. And over time, this leads to decision fatigue, the exhaustion that comes from constantly thinking, organizing, anticipating, carrying responsibility. So today, let's explore why this happens in the first place and how you can begin releasing this pressure of carrying everything alone. Firstly, you are constantly anticipating everybody else's needs. Okay? Now, women carrying heavy mental load are rarely mentally off. Even during rest, in fact, your mind is working overtime. You're thinking ahead. What needs to be done? What is it that someone needs? What could go wrong? And this constant anticipation keeps the nervous system mentally active all the time. Secondly, you make hundreds of invisible decisions every day of your life. Now, most decision fatigue does not come from major decisions or major life choices. It actually comes from very, very small decisions. What to cook, what to do, what to message, who to message, your schedules, your emotional response, your responses, your planning, you trying to remember. So many times, have you noticed you forget the smallest thing? And it's so funny. It's like even when, you're wearing your glasses and you're looking for your glasses, has that happened with you? Because, you know, the decisions are so repetitive and invisible. People often underestimate how draining they've truly become. Number 3, you feel guilty resting while others depend on you. Now, this is with a lot of women. Many women struggle to mentally switch off because they've linked their worth to, them being around, to their being needed. So when, even when they pause physically, even when they are resting, their mind keeps on working emotionally because somewhere inside they believe that if I stop managing, everything will fall apart. Number 4, your brain becomes overstimulated. Now, when the mind is constantly processing information, when the mind is constantly reminding itself of responsibilities and emotional labor, it reaches a state of overload. And eventually, even simple, small decisions suddenly become very confusing or difficult. Not because you're weak, but because your brain is exhausted from carrying too much for too long. Number 5, you need support, not more self pressure. So, this is one of the most important truths. You are not meant to do everything alone. You are not meant to carry every burden alone. You are not meant to carry everything alone, all responsibilities alone. Not every responsibility belongs to you. Not every emotional burden belongs to you. Healing decision fatigue begins with asking for support. When it gets too overwhelming, ask. Ask for support. Create boundaries. Learn to say no. Simplify your choices. Allow yourself some mental rest. Nobody is indispensable. Nobody. Nobody is indispensable. Life carries on. Everything happens. So if you allow yourself some time to rest mentally, you don't have to be guilty about it, and you don't have to think that the world is going to come to an end, because it will not. Your mind deserves peace. So if today's episode struck a chord with you, like, comment, share it with somebody who needs to hear this today. And don't forget to subscribe to the Flight to Fulfillment podcast on either YouTube or Substack or Apple or Spotify, wherever you're more comfortable, so that you don't miss out on a single dose of inspiration coming your way. Until next time, this is me, Ratika Seth, your life enhancement coach, signing off for now. But before I do that, I want you to remember that just because you can carry everything, just because you are strong enough, does not mean you have to. You are allowed to rest, you are allowed to pause, you are allowed to stop over functioning for everyone around you, and you are definitely allowed to take a break for yourself. So do just that, and I'll see you the next time in the next episode. Till then, bye bye, take care, and pause. Breathe, and remember, your mind deserves rest also, just like your body. See you the next time. Bye bye.